In this video, I will introduce you to the authorized representative requirements in the European Union that will come into force on July 1st of 2021, and specifically from a perspective of Amazon sellers and also other cross-border sellers. Right, so what is a European authorized representative? The role of the authorized representative is to act as, you could say, a contact point for companies selling products to EU customers from outside the European Union. Perhaps you're based in the United States, you're selling to customers B2C in the EU, or maybe you're a Chinese seller, and you need to ship directly from, say, a warehouse in Shenzhen or Hong Kong to consumers in the European Union, and this applies to you. Not so if you are a manufacturer, okay, selling B2B to importers. So the way this works is that cross-border sellers need to have a address on the packaging, not just any address. You can't just go and get a virtual address or something like that. You need a address from a European authorized representative. These are private companies. These are not government authorities. They're private entities. Now, you don't have the address, then your product can be seized and destroyed by the customs. And that's also what I wanted to illustrate with the image on the first slide. Now, getting that address is, well, it costs money, and they also have requirements. It's not just about paying a fee. Now, the authorized representative must check compliance documents. They must have the expertise, and they must check the documentation proving that your products are compliant with EU compliance requirements. And when needed, the authorized representative acts as your representative when communicating with, say, market surveillance authorities in the various EU countries. Right now, and the very reason for this is that with cross-border e-commerce absolutely exploding in the last 5 or 10 years, if something happens, if something goes wrong, say an exploding phone charge, a typical problem, then they have no contact point, and that's what is changing. So, which products require a European authorized representative? Some are referring to this only being a requirement for products that must be CE marked. This includes, say, toys, electronics, PPE, long list of products, but not everything. We had a look in the text itself, which you can find on the EU website, and it also lists REACH, products covered by REACH, which is all consumer products. So right now, I'm not entirely sure what to make of this. We're simply going to have to wait and see how they will enforce this, what product categories they will prioritize. But my understanding is that this is actually not limited just to certain product categories, affecting all sellers. Which companies need to use an authorized representative? Could be cross-border e-commerce sellers, meaning you sell B2C. Non-EU manufacturers and exporters selling B2C but not B2B, fulfillment centers, and this is quoted directly from the regulation itself, which also mentions fulfillment service providers. The way I believe this will develop, I haven't actually spoken to any of them that we work with here in Hong Kong, but the way I imagine that this will be dealt with is that, okay, you want to sell to the EU from, say, a Hong Kong fulfillment center, then you will simply need to provide compliance documents. They will just need to check this. Right. Do non-EU Amazon sellers need an authorized representative? And this is directly from the Seller Central. Okay, if you sell CE-marked products, they only refer so far, or at least when I did this research in January 2020, last year, they only refer to CE-marked products. And Amazon is offering their own authorized representative service for sellers. But they make it very clear that it will be legal to sell CE-marked products in the EU without a responsible person. That's another term for the same thing. Okay. And the way I imagine Amazon will deal with this is just that your product will not ship. You don't have this, then that listing will just not ship. the customers will not be able to buy it. Okay, from European customers, of course. What can happen to non-EU companies shipping products without an AR? Well, you will no longer be able to sell to Amazon customers in Europe. That's one, assuming you're an Amazon seller. You may not be able to use third-party fulfillment centers, and you will need to deal with a higher number of failed shipments that as the customers the customers don't receive the product, and the AR don't need your approval or the customer's approval to destroy the product. That is my understanding, that's what makes this new, that the address itself becomes an easy way for them to quickly verify compliance, because by extension, this is also a product that has this EU AR address. It has also been checked for compliance. So that's how this all adds up. So what documentation is needed from the seller? As I said, it's more than just paying a fee and getting an address. Compliance document is number one. Test reports, declaration of conformity, technical file, depends on the product. Different compliance requirements or different compliance documentation requirements to be specific for different products. So that's number one. You need to find out, okay, what do I need in the EU? Which requirements apply to my product? You also need to provide a business license or company registration document. Should not be an issue for, existing sellers. One thing that's really tricky, or at least could be, is the product liability insurance. Right now, I am not sure. Can Hong Kong company or even an American company obtain product liability insurance in the European Union? I have no idea. I really don't know. And thus, you also need an agreement with the authorized representative, but that is something you can assume that they will provide. How much does it cost? You're looking at an annual fee 1,500 to 2,000 euro. That's what I've been hearing so far. Okay. Hourly rate 150 to 250. That's what I've been hearing so far. And why an hourly rate? This is if the market surveillance authorities need to contact the representative to discuss something with your product. I can imagine that's something that's not going to happen very often, assuming your product is compliant and properly documented. Because that should also mean that it's safe. It's just less likely that you will even have compliance issues in that case. And you're looking at a deposit. So here are some companies offering AR services. As said, these are private enterprises. These are not government authorities. Product IP, number one, they already have a very well developed AR service. I think they're going to be really big on that. We also did some more research to find others. As said, this research is from late 2020. That I am quite certain a lot of other companies like Intertech and so on, they probably offer something like this in addition. And as I mentioned, it's also Amazon. All right, that was everything about European authorized representative requirements. If you want to learn more about compliance, you can go and check out our tool on compliancegate.com/tool.